Hello, my name is John Caldwell. I'm the DeltaV Product Marketing Manager for Virtualization, and I'm here today to tell you about some exciting new virtualization technology and products for DeltaV called DeltaV Virtual Studio. This is part 2 of a video. In the first video, we talked about virtualization and how we've made it easy to use with DeltaV Virtual Studio so that you can quickly spin up new virtual machines for DeltaV workstations and also controllers and I/O hardware for offline development and test. In this video, we're going to talk about some more advanced features for high availability and disaster recovery, as well as an integrated hardware platform designed specifically for virtualization. In our demonstration, we've got a physical DeltaV system that's been virtualized. It consists of a couple of app stations, a couple of operator stations, a professional station or Pro Plus, and we also have virtualized some controllers and I/O cards, and all of that is running inside of host computers connecting to thin clients where the operators would stand. So for example, this is a thin client driving a quad monitor. We have another thin client driving this single monitor display. In a traditional implementation, you would have separate host servers and switches and SAN devices, typically housed in a cabinet, wired together independently. Now, an integrated hardware platform for virtualization, we'll be using a blade server. In this case, it's the Dell PowerEdge Vertex, which has 4 integrated host servers, as well as integrated storage area network, switches, and redundant power supplies. This provides a very powerful environment for virtualization, which we'll have fully integrated with DeltaV Virtual Studio, including the high availability and disaster recovery features. With virtualization, we're able to combine many virtual machines into one host and then network many hosts together within one storage area. But the question comes is, if I put so many virtual machines in one host, what happens if that host goes down? Or what happens if I lose that network storage? And that's really where high availability and disaster recovery come in. High availability allows you to recover quickly if you have a host failure, or if you're having maintenance issues and you need to get all of the applications off of that host, you can do it while they're running. Disaster recovery covers scenarios where you have physical damage to your equipment, or you might have data corruption due to human error or other sources. A good backup and recovery system consists of both data backup and image backup. Image backup provides very fast recovery from disasters because you're able to just restart your virtual machine images in a matter of just minutes. How much disaster recovery and high availability is right for you depends a lot on how large your system is and how complex or critically important your applications are. With DeltaV Virtual Studio, we support multiple layers of availability for small systems all the way up to very large, critically important systems. The first is called VM replication, and this is a really awesome technology that's being released with Server 2012. It supports 5-minute snapshots of all your virtual machines, so that every 5 minutes you're having an image backup of all your virtual machines. In small application, what that means is you could have 2 host computers automatically backing up each other, so that if you lost one of the host computers, you would have those virtual machines available on the other just by simply manually starting them like you rebooted the computer. The only downside to VM replication is it does require a manual restart of your virtual machines. If you need an automatic restart, you really need to look at the next level of virtualization high availability called failover clustering. With failover clustering, you'll have multiple host computers together in a failover cluster with a storage area network, such that if you lost one of your host computers, it would automatically fail over all of the virtual machines and start them up on their backup host computer. Now this is excellent because it can be unattended, your machines are back up and running in just a matter of minutes. Also with high availability, we support live migration, where you can move the virtual machines from one host to another in just a matter of seconds instead of minutes. That's because you don't have to move the storage. Their storage is already fixed on the storage area network. You're just moving the running application. Now, the problem with failover clusters is it does require a storage area network, which can be expensive with the SAN device, but also the question comes up is what happens if my SAN fails? And that really leads to our next level of availability that combines both VM replication with high availability failover. In this scenario, we have a high availability cluster so that if you lost a host machine, all of your virtual machines would move over to their backup host. But at the same time, you can be replicating all your virtual machines to a remote replication server so that if you did have a disaster and you lost your SAN device, all of those machines would be available to be started from your replication server. Now, in our demo here, we're able to demonstrate where if you were to lose this vertex or one of the host machines, we would have those virtual machines being replicated to a replication server that we could easily start up within a matter of minutes. Also, we're able to demonstrate moving some of the professional or operator stations from one host to the other while they're running without any disruption. So let's take a look at some of these advanced features in DeltaV Virtual Studio. If you remember, we have a virtualized DeltaV system here with a couple of app stations, professional stations, Pro Plus, and if you look in DeltaV Explorer here, you can see the app stations, operator stations, professional stations, Pro Plus, then some controllers and virtual controllers. If we look at how that is implemented in DeltaV Virtual Studio, and we look at the DeltaV Virtual Studio client, we can see we have a host 1, host 2, and host 3, which are each running several different virtual machines. And then we also have a replication server, which is being used to image backup some of the most critical virtual machines every 5 minutes. So we'll take the Pro Plus that we were currently looking at, and I'll bring up a operator graphic here. What's incredible about live migration is that we can actually move these virtual machines while they're running without any interruption to the application. So the operator won't even know that the virtual machine has been moved. So in this case, the Pro 2 station is currently running on host 2. I'll select that and say I want to move it. I'm able to select which host I want to move it to, so I'll move it to host 1. And I'm going to leave it on this cluster storage still. We click OK, and at this point it's actually moving the application while it's running. And if we were to keep an eye on the operator graphic, we would have no idea that the application was actually moving. Now, another important feature with disaster recovery is VM replication. And what we're able to do with VM replication is we can take snapshots of all of the virtual machines every 5 minutes and store them on a replication server that is remote from the main control center. That protects you against disasters in which you might have physical damage to your equipment. In this case, we've selected the Professional Plus station for replication, and you can see here that it is the primary virtual machine that we're looking at on host 3, but it's actually being replicated, and it should show the information. It's being replicated to replica server, and everything looks normal with its replication. We were also replicating one of the application stations on host 2, and it's also being replicated to the replica server. So if we went over and looked at the replica server, you can see that we have both the app station and the Pro Plus. They're currently in the off mode because they're in a standby mode for recovery. But you can also run operator stations or other stations on that replica server, so it doesn't have to be a completely idle replica server. If we were to lose our Vertex machine or storage, shared storage, we'd be able to simply come over to these replicated virtual machines and press start, and then we'd be back up and running in just a few minutes. So if we look back, and we can see now that our Professional 2 was successfully migrated to host 1. You can see that there's a slight difference in the icon. It changes from green to blue, which simply means that it's not on its primary host server. That way you can easily tell if any of the machines were automatically moved due to some type of host failure. So that gives you an idea of what virtualization, high availability, and disaster recovery looks like in DeltaV Virtual Studio. The final point I'd like to make is this is a fairly small system, but you can actually expand these concepts of high availability and disaster recovery to larger systems. The ultimate being having 2 failover clusters, each with full high availability, and you can at the same time have VM replication between the clusters so that you can have all of your virtual machines backed up from one cluster to the next. So if you did have a disaster, you could have separated clusters implemented on 2 vertexes, for example, with each vertex holding up to 40 virtual machines. So that handles most of our larger applications, and then of course you can expand that even further if you want to. So thank you for taking a look at our high availability and disaster recovery features. If you want more information, please visit us online at deltav.com. Thank you.